dum bum be dum bum be dum bum bum.
Wait, does it matter? Do you hear echo in the song?
I didn't.
Okay, let me know if you hear echo in the song. Sometimes there's echo in the recording.
Bring in the boss one. I'm gonna go to the ground. If you can't do the job, don't tell me how you're off and down. When you're smiling in my face, but you play me like a clown, it's your fool, bitch. So just step back. I'm mad that when I come down straight, I thought you were my piece, but you play me out. Now I'm mad as hell, and I'm full of doubt. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's think. Let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's think. Let's roll. I'm back on the scene. It's time to get mean. I'm a lean revolution machine. For what people stay, they sway. For today is good as any day. Y'all feel slightly this, let's resist. Raise your fist and pump like this. Promises all the time. Don't cross the line, but you know it's right. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's see. Let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's see. Let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's see. Let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's see. Let's roll.
Double side, get something in your rear. 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 Double side, get something in your rear.
Brooklyn, who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's see. Let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Let's see. Let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? 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 Who you wanna roll with?
It's Thursday, bitches. I couldn't think of
Happy
a better way
Thursday.
Yeah, I did. Hi, Jim. How are we doing?
Hello, Jim.
Oh,
I'm unmuted.
you
Good.
are good.
Good so far. You know, probably average out, but so far.
I
Pretty
tried.
good.
I think I don't know. I haven't seen any other of these, but I tried my first hash resin disposable. I am very much enjoying it.
Right.
Still setting up cameras. Hold on. Yes, you are. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday broadcast of Sativa Cross. Since that Lefty seems to be busy, sorting things out and doing things and being, looking like he's stuck. He looks like he's the giant who resides within, who protrudes outside of Sativa, like the Mad Hatter. And it's like, I do a podcast here. Just go work around me.
Yeah, I have to stay over here in this area.
I hope everyone's well. I hope everyone's having a wonderful week and steering clear of chaos and negative vibes. Jim, anything in the brews? Are you going to be at the event Saturday?
Depends what event.
There's an event at the Mad Hatter on Saturday at noon.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
Fair enough.
I got the I had the fun of finding out about the Protect Medicaid rally at the State House.
Oh yeah.
After it had been going on for 45 minutes is the first I heard about it. From a month-old post, and I looked at the post and go, I missed it, huh? Oh no, it's now. So Kathy was good for heading straight out there.
Leroy, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, Leroy?
But yeah, no, you got to go to that. That needs to be taken care of.
Well, it's also good to feel the vibe of a crowd like that. And what the group did that got people there, there was like 25 wheelchairs or so, if I had to guess.
Right.
Which is a large out of a group that, I guess it could have been 300 people easily. It filled up the area pretty good in front of the State House. But they didn't have any little wheelchair ramps over the curb. And I was looking at, wow, there's a lot more room to not be like getting jostled, people shuffling by all the time. If I was in a wheelchair, I would have rather been on the other side. But, it wasn't bad. They did have two handicapped accessible portable Johns.
I definitely understand the whole vibe concept, like just getting like the feeling of everyone there, and it's definitely a foreign concept since COVID of people coming together. So I think this is like a beautiful thing in a lot of ways. I was in Uber last night, and I had a Venezuelan driver. He waved back to me and asked me. He said, "My friend, are you always live in this country?" And I said, "Yeah, I was born in America." He said, "What is happening right now? Why is everything so crazy? Why are they taking everything away?" And we
do.
I just told him, "Listen, man, as someone who's lived in this country all his life and grown up here, I'll tell you this, that we're going through a tough time right now with some troublesome people."
Here's what we can learn from this, though.
Yeah.
We look at other people from countries the same way we're being looked at now.
Yeah.
In other words, we don't somehow appreciate their population that doesn't have any say in their government at all, as it is going on here. So the association of being from America now, we should be able to at least understand that.
We could very well find ourselves in the same situation South Korea wasn't a couple months ago when they declared martial law, and all those lawmakers had to dash to the building to there's going to be like a lot of press to take action and take action quickly.
But, you can't say whole groups of people anything. In other words, now looking at it from the other way around, instead of us as a country making all these profiles of people in other countries, it's we're the ones not being understood, and nobody should say Americans this or that without saying most Americans, many Americans, some Americans, older Americans. You cannot just say Americans anything anymore, because we aren't a group anymore. We've lost the right for people to even assume anything about us by going two in totally different directions, and a lot of room in between. But by and large, shit is unexplainable, because you got to tell people, you're asking me to apply logic to an incredibly illogical situation. We're talking about the Mad Hatter, right? Yeah, okay. The rabbit hole.
As far as an logical situation.
I'm just saying the Mad Hatter, the rabbit hole, right? You go down the rabbit hole. Is it what you expected? Fuck no.
No, it never will be.
Well, no, and sometimes you actually do know what to expect, but that's from logical situations. So right now, for anybody to think they can predict what's going to happen when basically it changes day to day, minute to minute, it's like a pinball. I look at it like this. It's like a mother duck walking, and there's a bunch of ducklings behind her. Keeps looking over his shoulder. Oh, look, they're going a different way. You got to hurry back and maybe go that way with them. You know, we're not being
walking.
led.
We're not being led properly.
No, well, it's sort of like we're being led by a weird kind of focus group style. Oh, how much pushback was there? Okay, let's modify that. How much pushback was there? Okay, let's adjust. And I'm saying, as a carpenter, measure twice, cut once. It means something. It means no matter how much of a hurry you're in, no matter what the need is of the end result of your job, haste does make waste. And not just waste, it makes waste that takes more money to fix than it would have saved in the first place.
It's funny you say that because someone, what was it pointed out today on the news? They said his tariffs are like Schrodinger's cat. They're happening and then they're not happening at the same time. Like you never really know. Yeah. And it's that kind of hasty decision making that I see that you're talking about.
It does not project a position of strength.
No, it doesn't.
It projects a position of weakness. They will probably change their minds. And I don't mean they, the country. I mean the decision makers. And I'm still thinking, though, batter up is a good thing.
Yes.
Because we get to see. So I don't like so much predicting after the fact how it's going to play out. What's the point in that? Seriously. What's the point in predicting? It's a waste of time because it's going to play out. If you get a vote, okay. If you think you can change something, okay. I showed up today with Kathy to be 2 heads and a head count of 300 plus people. What did that do? Really? I can't say nothing, literally. It did that much in a huge world of not mattering worth a fuck in the first place. But it's showing up for the simple things like that. Feels like the thing to do. I'm not chanting. I didn't like. I'll tell you one thing. You can only do so many 3-syllable chants. And it reminded me of the freaking conventions where somebody'd go, do it now. Oh, do it now. Do it now. It's like out of a Monty Python sketch. Burn her. She's a witch. I mean, it was a whole, but that vibe to me was I appreciated people doing it, but it seemed like I always go also because you don't know who you're going to cross paths with, and it wasn't necessarily going to be anybody of utter significance there, but there was 2 of the 14 candidates looking to run for governor. And when the guy said 2 candidates, is a guy in a cowboy hat, not a Democrat, not a Republican. And he showed up, and I thought that's pretty cool, Yes. But weirdly enough, out of 300 people, when he came walking back into the crowd, he walked over to me. I didn't have, I was nondescript, didn't have a sign. Gave me a pamphlet for who he was, And then I proceeded to tell him, well, look, as long as you're running for governor, you got 2 opponents who are both Republicans, Citrelli and Bramnick, who voted against veterans with post-traumatic stress being allowed into our medical marijuana program. And they're trying to run from that fact. So here's my card, okay? And maybe I can get in touch with you and send you some stuff you could start flinging around that nobody else probably is. In other words, they shouldn't get a free pass. And I think you're the guy that can get, find the opportunity. So I'm going to make sure I keep him up to date on that. And he'll get that into the media before I ever will. So
hell yeah.
Tell me, was that by itself not worth the trip when I'm 25 minutes? Seriously.
It's absolutely worth the trip.
45 minutes late for the beginning. An hour and 15 minutes left. 2 minutes to get out the door. We had more time than it was. And, we didn't bring a chair for Kathy. That was my bad, And it's kind of cold anyway. So we made it to the end. God, hi, Kathy.
Also, I'd like to point out
you're walking by while I was talking about you.
From the start and end of this conversation, Lefty.
Cute Kathy's walked by.
That's the loudest I've ever heard Jim. And from the start and the end of this conversation, Lefty has been playing with toys and then gone out to smoke. But Jim, I got an email the other day, and I think you should check your email because I think you got this too. And the reason I bring this up is because it's from the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission for your patient.
Yeah,
you got for the town hall meetings.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I figured. I didn't know if you.
Yeah,
I didn't know how often you checked your emails, honestly. So
yeah, well, not every couple of days at a minimum, and
Right.
it's
Are you
like
gonna speak?
what's that?
Are you gonna speak at one of them?
Yeah, I probably am. Yeah,
I'm debating. I'm
pretty
debating. At least speaking from a patient's and a couple other perspectives as well.
Yeah, well, I'll speak because it's where to let you go off topic a little bit too. I mean, in other words, that's not what this is about necessarily. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I will. I can't really say for sure.
Now, have you heard anything? I haven't looked into this too much at all. I've only seen, the constant ad that plays, but have you heard anything about this guy who's running for governor? Josh, what's his name? Meyer?
The one, I've been seeing his ads on face. What do you call it? On
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. Yeah, YouTube. I guess it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I spend a lot of time on YouTube.
I want to hear his attitude towards this as well as other things, but honestly, I mean, let's be frank.
I'll be frank.
Murphy was the one who legalized this, and he's exiting. So I think this guy, if he does get elected, his follow up to this is going to be very, very important.
Yeah, I wouldn't give Murphy that overt credit for being the reason that this happened. He campaigned on that to make sure he got all the oomph he could to get elected, and he has not been the best friend.
Let me rephrase that.
Yeah,
his governorship got this accomplished.
Yeah.
So the governorship to follow is very important in that regard, I believe.
He didn't overtly get in the way where people could prove it. I don't know what to say. I'm trying to hope the bomb kicks in. Look at my finger.
But
Steve. Now Steve's going to be here, right? Steve, wait. You're muted.
Oh, Steve's coming back?
I didn't hear back from Steve yet.
No. Well, I Facebook messaged him. I didn't check to see if he saw it or not. He was scheduled though, right?
Well, yeah, I reminded him. Too. So I don't know. He didn't see his message yet. He didn't even see it yet.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Lefty, I don't know if you saw the cast, but did you see George Lowe died?
No.
Space Ghost.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he died 2 days ago. I just segue that real quick because that one hit me hard. As I said in the cast too, like that was that was me growing up. Most of my time growing up, and a lot of different characters. So, and then chaining.
What did he die from?
I honestly didn't want to look into it. I saw it and I just got sad because that's a big piece of me right there. But I'll get a look right now. Actually, let's see
if Homegirl would have helped him. Homegirl might have helped him.
Let's see if George Lowe could have benefited from. Let's see, George.
Yeah, we should check every obituary and say, hey, could this person have benefited from Homegirl? Absolutely, well, yes.
Yeah. If we were going to take that tack, I would suggest how tactfully could we reach back to people like Joe Ripatella, Mary Finn, people left behind when somebody died.
Yes.
In other words, that story is where it is, and it doesn't need to be told with anger. It just needs to come from somebody who was affected by it.
Yeah, I know. It makes me sad already.
Yeah, well.
So George Lowe
really sad.
George Lowe had elective heart surgery. As he recovered, he was met with many challenges. So they said they're at the phase right now where they're not saying a cause of death, but they said he after a long battle with illness.
Oh, are you sure? I missed who you're talking about.
So being that it's only been 2 days since he died, it's kind of at that phase right now where they're saying, George Lowe, he was a voice actor who died recently.
Oh, I did. Okay, I didn't recognize.
You probably if you ever flicked through Cartoon Network and saw Space Ghost, he was that.
No.
But the point is, they're at it being that it's only 2 days out. They're at that phase where they're saying no cause of death is listed yet, but friends are saying it's from a long battle with illness. So at this stage, we could say he probably could have benefited. And let's be frank, he lived in, I think he lived in California. So he had, he had, I think, better access to it, but that's another one right there.
Well,
he probably grew his own weed already. We're probably behind. We're late in the game. He was probably growing the best weed ever.
He was a partner of the Stoner Network, Adult Swim. Like, yes, of course he was hooked up with weed. So it's always like we've talked about this before. It's always interesting to look back and see, who could have benefited, who would still be here if cannabis had a farther reach of access or was the strength it needed to be or whatever have it.
If people had the correct information to begin with, they're a leg up. In my fourth decade of doing this, I can reach back and think of so many people that could have used to know it when it was just, like in the 90s and before. But none like, when Annette Funicello got MS, of course, Cheryl's well aware of that, And the thing is, I had not a bone to pick. I mailed to her people and said, you might want to get her to tone down, going, if you just try hard and never give up, you can win. It's like, no, you can do it's like, oh, maybe Cheryl didn't try hard enough. I mean, I'm taking care of her and somebody who's looking perfectly healthy, telling people like Cheryl that if you try hard enough, you can win, and she's losing. It's. But that's inadvertent. Nonetheless, it was offered as friendly advice.
I don't think that's an excuse. I don't think just saying I don't think saying something ignorant and having the overt intention of whatever or that fake saying it's friendly is an excuse. You walk into you know how insulting it would be, how heartbreaking, how confusing it would be if I walked into the the cancer ward and just said, "Listen, Billy, all you got to do is try really." No, that doesn't work. Like, trying hard is putting your effort into
and leave I know how you feel at the fucking door.
Yes.
It's so I don't know who it was, but it was sort of like, Weed Man had himself a motorcycle accident. I don't know if you saw the little selfie videos, and the one where he was being changed from a bedroom, and he's been somewhere, and he's got all the neck up, and, talking about potholes. Oh wait, there's no potholes. All that, and I know what he's in for. It's sort of like, okay, how you going to be taking a shit now? How much is that going to hurt? All the stuff coming up. But the first comment I saw, and I'm not directing at anybody in particular, probably more than one like it. The first response, a comment was, been there. Like, yeah, I know what you mean. And you don't want to read been there. It's like, I know right now in his head, he's going, no, you have not been here. Whatever it is, it's always different.
Yes. And I think that, you know what? I've said this before, and it applies to several different levels, whether it be people's ignorance or with the words they choose or whatnot. People don't know how to articulate themselves properly. And the proper way to articulate that situation, when you go up to someone and you see someone in a sad or painful or uncomfortable situation like that, instead of saying, I know how you feel, say, I feel for you. That's infinitely better. You say, I feel emotions looking at you in your situation. I know how you feel.
But there's the really the easiest thing is almost like how are you, fine, how are you, when people do it is, I find myself genuinely saying, I can't begin to imagine how you feel, how this must be. I just can't begin to imagine. And then and then let them expound on how that might be. But it's so I feel bad for Ed.
And you know where the birth of that came from? it came from the stigmatization of people saying, I feel bad for you. Because then people were led to believe, oh, you pity me. That means you feel like you're better than, or something. And it's whole like arrogant chain of mind, sometimes on the part of the victim, unfortunately, or the person affected, but it's still like, it overcomplicates things way too much.
Well, I made one statement that it didn't come back to haunt me. It actually helped, but it was one of the 5-6 times I've actually felt my blood not run cold, but almost like I could feel it circulate for a second when you get this wow 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 moment. And that was like in Oklahoma when I first ran into Cheryl. She was at a function called Positively Single. And they were sending her, having a big gathering of an organization at the fairgrounds inside in the main rooms and all. Took the place over so she could go to get hyperbaric oxygenation. It wasn't covered, and they were funding her for like 6 weeks worth in case that would help. Right. So anyway, what happened was I'd already noticed and walked away, and then when I heard, "Why don't you enter the contest?" and I looked, and it was her. There was this crowd of people and a little hooting and hollering going on. I don't want to see what it was. Apparently, it was a cutest tush contest for guys. So they subject themselves to the women there hooting and hollering at them, But what she said is, why don't you enter the contest? To which I said, well, contest. So far, so good, right? I'm like, ooh, it's her. She came over to me. Holy fuck. And then she goes, well, she says, well, it's the cutest tush contest. And I heard myself go, what are you, blind as well? I don't hardly have a tush. And what are you, blind as well? What kind of thing was that to say? It was like, I heard the echo of it and I couldn't bring it back. And, as quick as I was aghast, there, I finally used that word. There was a sly smile, somebody saying, I get it. That's cool. That's pretty funny,
But there's moments like that of either ignorance or just poor word choice. And then there's the thing that people don't really acknowledge much at all, and that's the unawareness. I'll give you an example of that right now. When I was in high school, I was in a robotics class. And by the way, when I was in high school, I was much more heavy set in my autism than I am now. So we were every year for this robotics convention, we'd gather in the state and we'd learn, because they give you a kit of like what you're going to make your robot out of, what that robot's supposed to do. And we'd meet and learn. They do the unveiling and everything like that. The first year we went to one of our competitions, I'm going to get back to that part in a minute. First year we went to one of our competitions, I had, our stickers, our flyers and everything. And, we just got done putting the robot together. So I decided I'm going to get all this stuff and, go hand stuff out. And the first table I come across, again, I'm an impulsive autistic child. And I go to the first group I see and I go right to their vantage point and I start, talking to them. So I'm not like posting myself right in front of them. That was the amount of awareness I could practice at the time. And I start talking to them, no response. So then I go to, a little bit closer to the front and they still don't hear me. I go right to the front. As soon as I open my mouth to say something while they're looking at me as they look up from the robot, I see the sign for their school, and it's the Connecticut School for the Deaf. So that's just that, and people often don't even think about just plain unawareness at all. They just think there's something meticulous happening to them, or someone's trying to hurt them, or someone's, not actively not considering their feelings. Jim, you're muted. Go ahead. Sorry.
A relative similarity that kind of makes me chuckle in retrospect is when I first got to Oklahoma, I met a girl who had just moved there from New York with her brother, who was like actually a computer whiz in 1981. Back when Will said he's already, they were making games with he was. Air Force pilot, 23. Great family. The one thing they didn't prepare me for, though, one day is I went over to their house and, Donna, the girl, went out to the store for something real quick, and Doug was in the back room. There's a knock on the door, so I open it, and it's apparently the parents of Doug's girlfriend got there before her, but it's me and them. So I didn't know they were deaf, and they could read lips enough to like not freak out or shit or whatever. But in the middle of me standing there with them in the doorway, and I'm getting ready to invite them in, and at the same time I opened my mouth, they went like this and looked behind me because Doug had walked in. And as he walked in, he said something like, "Oh, they don't fucking give a shit about you." And I'm like, "What?" But then they look because they're deaf. And when he told me that, it was like, what a stupid joke, Doug. I mean, I don't even want to say what he said. It was like way ruder than that.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, it's makes me cognizant also because of Ari, a deaf guy who used to come to our podcasts, how they can be mistaken for all sorts of things, that get you in a police van and certain reactions,
or canceled or whatever.
Yeah. Okay, here it is. He needs to use. We didn't have a porta potty there, and at the time you could go inside the State House annex and go. And this might have even been sometimes before we had to be at the annex, although he was there for over a couple year period. And he had, so I asked, he's like, tapped me on the shoulder, and he gives me the sign for he has to pee. This is it. He goes,
I'm good.
I swear to God.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, you can't go in and try to deal with state troopers on your own there. You're going to end up in the freaking police van. Get taken down or something.
They are not trained well enough to pick up on that. No.
So, but I did, and it was a real test case for, I could see going in. I had pretty clear field vision there. So when we got up there, I got between Ari and where he couldn't see my mouth. I said, my friend Ari here, he's deaf, so he can't hear a word that you're going to say. And he needs to use the bathroom. And the sign language for what he wanted to tell you might have seemed almost offensive. I don't know if it's real sign language or him just being a guy. And they laugh. Meanwhile, I know that Ari's behind me seeing them laugh. It's just a weird dynamic.
Yeah.
So the one time that he had a sign person there, at the time his girlfriend, she lived at the home for the deaf where he was, I mean, she worked there. So I found that she's standing next to him. And say, have it work out. I had to position myself almost like an umpire. Yeah, behind Ari while I was talking to him, and she was signing because I wanted to see the signs, and
right.
And he kind of appreciated that. But
so it's interesting. During that, I thought of something that like we've talked about, the different ways things can be misconstrued, whether it's on purpose or whether it's out of ignorance or unawareness or something like that. And on the specific tone of disabilities, I'll tell you something. There was an era, I want to say it started like 1998 and ended like 2005, 2006, where there was, let's call it the utilization of the eye catcher of a human being. And what I mean by that is that in elementary schools and high schools, like say you hear rumblings, you're going to have a school assembly and it's going to be someone talking about difference, and this person, and they'll emphasize that difference and they'll play very generally around it, but knowing that they're talking to children. And then a dwarf would walk out And I'm like, okay, there's nothing wrong with that looking back at it now, but you know what you were doing. You led that out and left out the very important part that you need to feed the children, that there's a small person walking out and that you guys need to prepare and behave yourselves. They wouldn't do that on purpose. And they thought, okay, well, they're going to learn a lesson by reacting. And I always thought that was a very inappropriate trope, and whether it be unawareness or awareness and weaponizing that or whatever, but that was very often used during those years of like taking someone with disabilities or someone who looked off to the eye and presenting them as an object to ignite change, which I always thought was a mixed bag on things. Sorry, Jim, you're muted.
Just do that, making sure background was. Yeah, we're all adults here. I can ask, what is a trope? I hear it all the time.
It's like a classification. Like
I lowered my voice, like I won't.
No, like
I mean, I kind of know when to use it, but I'm afraid to because I don't want to get.
Yeah, I'm trying to put it in the terminology for you, like the Home Alone trope. Like you could attribute that to like when you see like on Family Guy or some other show where they attribute like, oh, the son is stuck at home and there's burglars. You're like, oh, that's a Home Alone trope they're doing right there.
A trope. Use a different word to describe it as best you can.
It gets complicated. So the other word I used to describe in that instance was like a bit. So like,
okay.
It's the thing they're doing, the Home Alone thing, the Star Wars thing, the yeah.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I just like I try to use a new word if I can every day. You know, I mean, words that I have never said, and there's some I won't say, or say in certain respect. Like I never pair things with food. I don't like it. I don't like it pairs well with. I just don't like it. You know, I mean,
Jim, have you never watched Ratatouille?
What? Which one? What?
Yeah, okay. You're going to see where I'm going with this in a moment. You just said something. Have you never watched the movie Ratatouille?
No.
Okay, you need to watch that movie. That will teach you the value.
Kind of like Ratatouille or something.
No, it's a Pixar movie about the value of cooking and the value of like enjoying your food. I've grown to appreciate the term pairing. Because I used to think that was at least weird, but there's this very unique.
It has a place. I just don't. Use it.
No, I mean but it's better when you can visualize it and picture like a positive image of it. And like, there's a very distinct scene in the beginning of that movie where he's teaching his brother the value of chewing slowly and just cherishing the food and then mixing and matching different flavors. So like he takes a bite of a strawberry, there's like a symphony of spring behind him with like music, and then the cheese is like a jazz, and then he mixes them together.
I could actually go for all that at the Garnet Grill where Kathy. We're going tomorrow because
amazing.
It is really the best Camden style chicken cheesesteak. And I looked and I saw this thing today and somebody said, "Do you have chicken cheesesteaks?" Yeah. And it's like, it was the best chicken in a bun I've ever tasted of any kind ever.
I had it. Hey, Tommy.
I tried to bring up a point about a scene in Ratatouille, and Jim's like, you know what? Food does sound good right now. That's awesome.
No, Ratatouille sounded like Ratari too.
No, it's a dish, Ratatouille, but it's a movie also. And better luck to your Giants next year.
Yeah.
Hey, they got a good quarterback.
I'm in a rare opportunity where I can say that my Jets have been performing better than they have been the past couple of years.
Yeah. Good.
We're not doing that well where I'm above that face. No, not doing that well. But I will say, at least we're close to the playoffs. Like we had, the past 2 years we had best late game to the Eagles' best early game. So there's notes I have to make as a longtime fan and someone who watched a troublesome coach just leave.
Right.
So
wait,
Tommy,
what's going on with you guys? Sorry, I'm trying to fix my fixing my thing here, Lefty. I'm sorry.
Whoa, now, hey, this ain't that type of show.
Lefty, I think if his thing's all the way that high up, he needs to go see a doctor.
I am that high up.
Oh, I'm gonna scream. No, we're just chatting, filling the void till the guest shows up, and the guest is here. So
Well, if Steve's not going to be here, I just got a call from Sue, and she said Mike Robinson's going to be here in half an hour, which you couldn't get a better substitute, or both, would be killer.
absolutely.
But rather than if Steve hasn't responded and hasn't shown up, this could have got through his net. It happens.
So Tommy, I see your tag there. It says "Stop Killing Patients, New Jersey." Now, I'm sure Lefty knows. Jim probably knows. Lefty doesn't tell me things before we start these casts. So why don't you give me a little bio about yourself? Because it's true.
Why would you say that, Tommy? My goodness.
Sure. Well, I'm Tommy Lyons, and I was fortunate enough to meet Lefty back in 2015. We connected on the internet, and I just saw Lefty as somebody that I could look up to and teach me about cannabis as medicine. Same thing with Jim Miller. Because when I started this, you guys know I was all over the place. I didn't know about cannabis. I didn't even know cannabis was really medicine. It was something that I grew up smoking pot, and then I joined the military, so I stopped smoking pot. And then when I started, I was like, oh, Lefty got PTSD for combat veterans approved for medical cards. And that was how I was able to get my medical card in New Jersey because of Lefty. And Jim. I'll never be able to.
What branch of the military?
I was Air Force.
Thank you for your service.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. But when I connected with these guys online and I saw what they were doing, I was like, I want to get involved. And they have helped me understand how cannabis is medicine and how it actually saves lives. And to see what the governments are doing to watch patients die, and, so many podcasts, Lefty, new people just constantly passing away because they're not able to afford the medicine that they need. They don't have the home grow that they need to be able to process their own medicine if they want to.
Were you saying this 2015? Was this 2015 you were saying, thereabouts, you ran into Lefty? So that would have been like right before there was the push to include PTSD and gather some veterans to make the point, and also make the point, hey, listen, rape, incest, all sorts of things give you PTSD, but it's veterans with PTSD who can break that fucking door open and everybody gets in, And it was like one of the more pivotal episodes of the podcast where we did have an effect on that. We really did. And I think that was some of our best times, and everybody kind of played along. I mean, I brought big signs for all 13 people who voted against it. And it was just really fun to publicly shame them, saying they think veterans with PTSD do not belong in a program or they're against it, And to that point, two candidates for the Republican nomination for governor, it's coming up in November, another governor's election here. Yeah, two of them are among the 13 who were assemblymen then that voted against veterans being in the program, meaning they voted against PTSD. And I have had that in my hip pocket for a long time. And I was just at a Medicaid rally that I found out at the last minute in Trenton. And when I got there, it was I forget what I was even telling you. I was so excited about being there. I met a candidate for governor who's neither Democrat or Republican, and he came over to me for some reason. I had the chance to tell him about this because I'm like, they voted no. 13 congressmen, all Republicans, voted against the bill they knew would pass. It passed 56 to 13. They knew it was going to pass. So it was a statement vote. So as not to make it pass 56 to 3 or something. And they got at mostly first and second year people, not really big names, and all voted no. So I made up each an individual sign, and we shamed them as best we could. And now two are trying to, so I ran into today for showing up for don't touch my Medicaid, that I ran into the one person, and he's a real maverick, sort of boisterous guy. He's the one guy that will take them on as he can in any candidate's forum or when he has a say and he wants to fight one of the other candidates, so to speak, he gets to whip that out. I'm going to make sure he's got shortcut bullet points. Gave him my card. I'll be able to get a hold of him.
And
so, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about that today, because so much of what do you think is going to happen? Here's what's going to happen. Here's what we should do. I don't have a vote, and I can't affect that meter. I can't. So I don't get in the nuts and bolts. And then when something comes my way, and it was just last minute, I found out it was already going on. I got down there, gave shit a chance to happen. So if that circles around and bites those two in the ass after all these years, ha!
And like I was saying earlier, Tommy, I was telling Jim earlier, and Jim rightfully, corrected me not to credit Murphy directly too much to this, but I will say his governorship did bring about the recreational legalization. So I would think that the governorship to follow is a very important footstep in that matter. And
okay, gentlemen, Jim, I'm sorry, Jim and the Bucket Man and Lefty, you guys, I'm so sorry. I want to hang out longer, but I have to go pick up my sons. They had an
do what you gotta do, man.
Hey, you got here for the important part. You're looking good, man. I see you smiling more than frowning. So
your reps are losing brand team.
One day, Jim, if I could ever look as good as you, man, then I'll be a happy guy.
Little glasses might help, but I appreciate it.
I love it. Hey, Tommy, Lefty, I'm glad you got to show up for a little bit, though.
Thank you, guys. Yes, I'm super happy to be here. And hey, Lefty, so I got my two sons, Matt and Jake, right? Which one do you like better?
I knew it. I knew that was coming.
Context.
As soon as he did that, it became familiar immediately. Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Context. Someone, please. I'm drowning. What did his son do something wrong, and that's why he has to leave?
No. It might be his
running gag. It's a running gag on the podcast that I haven't done that. I haven't done that in a long time to anyone.
That was a blast from the past.
I'm going to start doing that to people again.
But you don't have children.
No. You ask people a question, and then instead of waiting for the answer, you hang up on them. It's the funniest thing ever for the person.
That is really funny. That is really funny. I wish telemarketing worked like that. They just yell the ad to you and then hang up the phone.
So Mike Robinson, we're I can't remember if how long ago he was on, but that he is the guy when it comes to cannabis and cancer treatment. Who knows, much like some paralegal would know more about legal matters than lawyers do, the ones that make things work. He's like that. And he's always been generous with giving things to cancer patients. And the fact he's taking care of Brother Rick, and Rick's numbers are going down, didn't cost Rick a goddamn nickel. And he mailed some crumble to him that he needed. And it's like he said that he gave away an amazing amount of Rick Simpson oil for 10 years, thinking that was it, to when he found out in and of itself, no, it can do so much better. Yeah, it's an integral part, but even if you didn't have that, there's other things more important that go. And but then he just says this is a cancer survivor, but it keeps coming back for another fight, different kinds of cancer. So he just had a thing where his numbers were surprisingly not good. And it can be a little bit devastating. What the hell? And then when he got to the day of, here's the number, here we go, he found out that it was a misdiagnosis, and he had a problem with this doctor anyway when he found something else out. But so, it's going to be interesting. I'm not sure where he is. He has such a presence on Facebook too. I like when he does his walks. He takes a walk with a selfie stick and just sort of talks. You feel like you're walking along with him somehow, a little bit. What's up, Adam?
What's up?
What's up, Adam?
How's it going, guys?
We got Mike Robinson coming on in about 20 minutes. Surprise guest, Sue could get on. Steve Way, he might have missed the date he was supposed to be on and Lefty sent him a notice. I sent him something, but it was only on Facebook. And so anyway, yeah, we got a good and Mike Robinson doing the work he does with cannabis and cancer, and taking care of Brother Rick with no cost to him, with shit that otherwise would have been expensive. Having had his own scare and relapsing and all. I mean, there's a guy who's a race car driver, a surfer, a man of many talents, and then through a bump in his head surfing, it saved him because there was something going on, and yada yada, cancer, cannabis. But just I really enjoy that he's very easy to talk to and understand what he's saying. And I'm real curious how he felt about, in effect, a misdiagnosis that he thought he had something far more serious than, a glitch in the numbers or whatever. So, I need to hear it. I don't do well with like a post and a couple of things getting full pictures, It's really nice if I get to interrupt somebody long enough to go, when? And all of a sudden it makes a difference. So. What's good in your world, Adam?
Oh,
How's life living in a legal state?
But up in New York,
Yeah.
you saw that New York is trying to remove the protection for the smell as probable cause.
Yep.
Like in a car.
Oh, that's seriously messed up.
Yes, totally messed up. There's federal precedent out of Colorado from Reverend Brandon Baker from Green Faith Ministries, who's also interstate. He works with I can't remember the name of the organization, but Jesse Schwark, the White Rastas from Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin. He works with them. He's also about to get a court ruling in his favor in Wyoming, I think, for religious use as well. But his precedent is about using the smell of cannabis as probable cause. He beat that in Colorado.
Yeah, smell. I smell it. You can't. No, you don't. Yes, I do.
Well,
yeah.
Well, now they can smell it, and they can't use that as pretext to search you. But if they change the law, they will use that as pretext to search you.
What happens if in a case where they say they smell something and can't find anything? That doesn't dilute? I mean, that must have happened when it was a law before it got changed. That was always good, and it was just I smell it. Yeah, I smell it. It gives me the right. And then often it wasn't there, but there's no penalty for that.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I don't know.
Well, the problem is most people are not involved with cannabis for religious purposes and don't know any of these precedents. So, like, if I were to get pulled over in New York, so they can't. The precedent that Reverend Baker has, at least in Colorado and the other states that he's working in, is that the smell alone cannot be used to as probable cause, which means that probable cause that a crime has been committed, because they're essentially saying the smell of your religion makes us think that you're a criminal. So that is basically illegal. But I'm sure, I actually have not had an in-depth conversation with Reverend Baker about this. I've spoken to him a little bit, but I'm sure there's wiggle room for the state to still assert that they have probable cause if they say that they pulled you over for a driving infraction, which they would then say is evidence of impairment. And then they would say the smell supports their view that it's impairment. I mean, I would fight that in court anyway, but that's really the only. So, like, the most cut and dry would be, say, at a DUI inspection stop, where if you haven't been pulled over and they simply say, "Oh, it smells like weed. We want to search you to make sure that you're not, we're going to drug test you." He refused. He said, "Nah, I'm not gonna do a sobriety test. The smell of my religion is not probable cause for anything." And they arrested him and charged him with DUI, and he appealed to the federal court and won.
Wow.
But again, there may be wiggle room for the state to say, well, in that narrow situation, there was no other evidence other than the smell. But a cop could say, well, you went over the line, so I think you're impaired. Oh, well, it smells like weed, so do a sobriety test. I don't know whether that would fall under or outside of those precedents.
No.
I mean, the state's not on our side, so.
No.
However, I mean, like, I guess it's all about context. You don't. It's one thing to say you swerved over the line, you're impaired. That's different than saying you did something very dangerous and reckless. You might be impaired. I mean, like, you can sneeze and touch the yellow line. You haven't committed a crime. So, like, you can avoid an object in the road, which might have been a pine cone for all you know, but better safe than sorry. Drive around it. Like, if I got pulled over and they said you swerved, I would say there was something in the road. I'm not allowed to swerve around things that are in the road. Obviously, I am. So like,
what if used to be some herb-smelling car fresheners that mimicked the smell of cannabis? So I would think, would it be almost wise to have one of them, and say, "Nah, you're smelling that, dude."
I'm not sure. Before legalization, I would always carry. I still have it in my car.
Cigars?
This is not legal advice. No, hemp cigarettes.
Oh,
Legal hemp cigarettes.
yeah.
If hemp and marijuana are the same thing in terms of the smell, then this is what you smelled, officer. My legal hemp cigarettes. I mean, that would be that. As far as I'm concerned, that would be the end of it. No. I can smell the difference. I smelled illegal marijuana. Yeah, the fuck you did.
Let me tell you what. Lefty knows Pete Christopher, and Lefty, when I rode with Pete to Washington, I guess it was for a normal conference, and he had clones, which were pretty freaking illegal. In a box about this high and this big, and he had in his ashtray not a tipper, a cigar, not a big fat one, but one that really stunk, and he had it there, and every now and then he just light it up and let the car stink, just in case. And it didn't bother me, but then to be able to get one lit up if you're getting pulled over, man, you couldn't smell fuck all with that. It was really bad, So I'd go with that maybe. I don't know.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it worked. And then it's weird because he was doing some registering, and here, hold this, and don't you had to hold it flat. So I'm there with that, and then we're bringing it up to the room. We were in different rooms, and then a guy at the motel said, "Let me get that for you." No, it was just funny. Yeah, that's where I realized why they call it lobbying, because I mean, even though it's our own kind of normal conference, there's lines to check in, and once you're in line, you're captured audience. You can walk up alongside somebody in line. Hey, all right, you're here. Now that's where you got them, And what happens is in Washington, you can catch people checking in too, that are people you might want to lobby. I don't know. I know one time with Alan St. Pierre a couple were going down a hallway and went by a congresswoman walking out of an office, where their room was, and it was somebody said something about what we were doing there, and she was all good about it. It was just funny when she said, "Alan, do you have any information or a card you could give me?" I'm guessing so. But anyway, lobbying there. Yeah, I think this campaign season, for New Jersey, I'm going to see if I can find some events. I don't know how is a candidate for governor or any state office or legislative office. They're going to have to get out in public. You can't stop having town halls, and even if you're at the state level, because you're still somehow responsible for what's going on in Washington at your own freaking town halls.
Start eating at your local diner. They do diner.
Yeah, but they tend to just show up. You got to almost get lucky. I mean, the one where Brian caught Christie at that diner, that was a known event. Apparently, you knew he would be there. Oh, that was where you got your credits on what news was it? CNN or something?
CNN, AP.
Yeah, you could see
went around.
Your credit at the end when they rolled credits. It's
was
like,
great.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah,
that was Brian Wilson, and he had to move out of the state because his daughter Vivian could not get the cannabis she needed here in New Jersey, and Home Grow would have helped that situation.
Yeah, well, it certainly would have, but yeah, they needed to get to where she could be taken care of immediately. When Vivian died, that was their wake-up call. No, we're not keeping her to stay 1 second longer, and they were out.
Sabina, when Sabina died.
Yeah, when Sabina died. Yeah, right. So the fact that they could get to Colorado, and it was Charlotte's Web and Charlotte V being out there that they wanted to avail themselves of with Vivian. Vivian's, she's doing pretty good. I haven't seen a picture in a while. That'd be kind of interesting. The where are they now stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Lefty, how do you gently, delicately say somebody who's lost someone close to them, the closer, the more it would actually matter to make a statement. I don't mean like stand up somewhere, something that could be made public, or at the very least to their own legislators. It needs to be a reminder. I mean, I can't do it. I mean, I know what it's like to a degree, but things should have happened quicker. And, now with the going to actually be able to hold people responsible for buying something, cannabis product from an unlicensed distributor, the smaller boutique outlets or just convenience stores that have a lot of stuff there, and a lot is allowed, and some you got to be licensed. So to take care of that, and then also say that it's sanctionable to a degree against the person who's the customer. And no, not while you're not the same guy blocking a patient Home Grow bill for 4 years, putting this bill, having the time, not time to talk to patients about what's going on with them, but to say, oh yeah, and patients included, if you try to get it cheaper somewhere, and it's unlicensed, going to have PCU for that.
And this is going to affect Black and brown people disproportionately again.
It always does. It just does. It's
that's his prosecutor blood in him. He's a prosecutor.
Yeah. Well,
that's what he did all his life.
That bill's going to get a hearing. And
that'll get a hearing and a vote.
Yeah, but that means that I get to go say what I think about that specific bill, and I get to do it where I didn't get to do it at the Joint Health Committee hearing, where it was asked to leave because I wouldn't stick to the subject when I testified for Herb Conaway. But with this, now this is not going to be in Scutari's committee, but it's his bill. Don't think he won't be there at some point, at least for a little bit. And yeah, we need to take advantage of that. When I say we, anybody that wants a hearing to happen, it's a good place to try to get signers for the petition too. Like, have a QR code on my back. That'd be pretty good, wouldn't it? Have a QR code on my back and my front, for a home grow petition to go in and talk to them about,
Like the old school sandwich board that you'd wear.
Yeah.
You can make one. You can make 2 signs and you can hang them around your neck.
I did that one time. I did that one time on a failed long walk to Washington. I did exactly that.
Oh my!
Been there, done. Yeah, that one got hit by a surprise snowstorm, and I made it to Cherry Hill from Toms River, and yeah, I was in danger of being like cold and wet and sweated, and then it dropped, and I don't know. Somebody, passing motorist, recognized that I was trying to hide from the wind behind lights in a parking lot, the concrete base, trying to shield myself from the wind, and I had an uncontrollable shiver. I mean, uncontrollable. Yeah. Not all my long walks were successful. That's what happens when you need to find out where the edge of the envelope is.
Yeah, where is it?
Well, I gave it a shot. I mean,
how far can we push the envelope?
Well, all things being equal, it was. I thought that the intensity that I had, that nothing would stop me, and there are physical limitations that become apparent. Just watch Naked and Afraid and find out. Yeah. Different than that, but a little bit of holy crap, and then a surprise, 3 inches of snow that weren't supposed to happen. That could have doubled as a teepee too, by the way.
I think I'm going to rewatch Crip Camp and watch Judy Heumann and all the stuff she fought for that's getting rolled back on right now. Section 504.
I'm unfamiliar.
Yeah, she fought for a lot of things, for disability rights in schools and for education and for access.
I'm back. I was on the phone with the vet.
Oh my. I hope you have better news.
I can't hear you. Hold on. I may have. Oh, what happened?
I said I hope you have good news about your kitty, your little fur baby.
There we go.
I hope your fur baby's happy.
So she's just got at home, back from the vet. She's, hold on.
Oh my.
Recovering and sleeping off the medication currently at my mom's neighbor's house, a good friend of ours, and then she's going to make the trek up here once she's recovered more. I got to get a gate for the stairs now that she has one less leg. But yeah, she's going to be fine.
Oh.
What did I miss?
What did you miss? I don't know, Jim. What did we miss? We didn't miss much. We're just babbling here.
Anyone else coming on today?
Row. Mike Robinson is going to be joining us any second now. And Tommy Lyons was with us. I think you saw that. I also invited Chris Goldstein on tonight, so he might even jump on. So who knows what could happen here tonight? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know eventually we're going to start taking breaks, and I'm going to start showing commercials and stuff. So, every hour or so, we'll have a vendor's commercial up there. And we'll make
or
a
my commercial.
Like I can put up. Actually, here I can do that right now. I could do our first commercial ever.
I'll start sending you commercials.
Huh? Well, yes, flaming anus.
No. God damn it.
No, we're not doing that.
No, seriously, not into it.
God damn it.
I do have a commercial. Hold on. It's for the Just a Woman Cannabis Company.
Woo!
Now, I should have had this ready because now
Yes.
you guys are going to just watch me with dead air. And you wait, what's Lefty doing? Okay. And I'm sitting
Lefty.
here working.
Don't worry, I'll cover the dead air.
Thank
if
you.
you see here, we are watching the Lefty in his natural habitat, podcasting and discussing nonsense as he plays with toys and appears to be a sitting giant amongst the Avenel dispensary, sitting next to a disgraced sex shop with caged soda machines, in a state with corruption and improper governance. Not to mention the entire country.
Shortly on Lefty's podcast, going to have Mike Robinson coming on. That's a real keeper. And
Who is Mike Robinson? I've heard you say his name a couple of times now.
Mike Robinson, he has been a leading resource in how cannabis affects cancer. He's not a doctor. He's just one of the smartest mans I've ever met on this, and he doesn't just assume and improve on already pathways. He's one of the few people I know that he said after giving away, I forget how much, Rick Simpson oil, thinking that was it, and certain amounts. And then the more he researched, the more he found out it does not end there. That's not the end all be all. There's things that you can do to improve that. With some kind of crumble in an oil that you mix in that has some other something other than THC or CBD or all. Yeah, one of the things. And
all right, hold on, Jim. Let me get to this commercial before Mike gets on. Let's jump to our commercial. This is what we're going to start doing. We're going to do a hard stop. We have to figure out some signals or something like they do in radio, where it's just like, go to
Play a record.
Yeah.
You play a record.
1 minute to commercial.
This means draw it out.
Play an ad. Just say, it's just like, all right, we're gonna play an ad, and then just like, you know what you should do?
Really
You should set up
ruminate
the transition I do with
So that's
the way
the
I
goal.
modify this into a template. Like, have you ever used a PDF
Right.
app, and it will have the spots that you need to fill in your information open? So I could like maybe do that in the letter for people. So it's like the minimal work they need to do to.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I being a
What did I just do?
This is the commercial. Or
What
is
did
this
I
just
just
a bit
do?
from the
Okay, no.
podcast?
I totally screwed that up.
You did. As you see, the Lefty is not very comfortable within even his own living environment.
well, put it in that file. They
This is
don't
here.
really ruminate on what's being written.
I wonder if there's
So
a
that
way
was
I
That's
can
the whole
modify this
podcast.
into a
I thought we
template.
had a commercial that I made.
Did you do you remember making a commercial?
Maybe I didn't put it on Instagram.
Let me see. Pull up the commercial. I want to see this.
This isn't a
I mean,
commercial. This is the whole thing.
Then go to where the commercial is. Oh,
Hold on.
No.
All right. So you guys have to fill in the dead air when I'm doing this. That's the whole key.
bread air. It's full of bread.
And not
All
that
the
one.
air is
Not
full of
that.
bread.
That's awful.
It's a starch air. Starch air.
Brother, what's
I don't
that?
know what I mean. I'm referring to like when you're at
What's
the
that
Outback and
about?
you're sitting in your booth and you smell the bread being made. I'm like, yeah, that's bread air. Awesome bread air. Love bread air. Then in that regard, bread. What about bread?
No, what
What-
about,
it-
what
it- you
about
know what's
medical
surprised-
cannabis home grow? Let's go there. I mean,
Yeah.
what the F blank?
Well, then
blank
take the
he
lead.
say? I will. I'd love to. It's sort of like there are things going on. I like the idea of April coming up, April 22nd. I don't know if it's that again. It's in conjunction with Earth Day, and that'll be the home grow coalition that Chris and Andrea and others are keeping together weekly. So that's not really that far off, but it seems like there should be more than just waiting for something to happen. And I think all of us being pot smokers could come up with things to throw on the wall. Like if we were a comedy sketch team and we had to produce something for somebody, you know, we'd all noodle about something, you know. And I don't know what that is exactly, but I know that
Commercial time.
Okay, commercial in 3. Here we go. I found it.
Who do you wanna roll with? Let's go.
This is a special box. You got to see this box. What's in here? What is it in that box? First of all,
If there's a chocolate bar in there, I'm going to be upset.
no, it's better.
It's better.
It's way better.
So all the petals that we create or apothecary cones that will be in our product line are organic and natural, leave a good footprint, or a medicinal product. The terpenes are amazing in it, that also then paired with the cannabis inside is very medicinally out of this world is probably the best way to put it. People put food in them, you know, they cook things in corn husks and banana leaves, but we can also put cannabis in it. And we're using A and B bud flower that we grind right to the order and then flash frozen. You know, we put it in the freezer so it stays fresh. So
Right,
we
it's
make
not
sure
shake. No
it's
shake.
not shake
No shake.
at all.
That's how we pass joints with that. Yeah, like
There
Oh,
you
Very
yeah.
pretty.
Nice,
There
nice.
you go.
Very vibrant.
Yes, I love it.
Now this
Now,
has
I'm guessing you can get a good read on the terpenes from like the shade and the color.
Yes.
So, like
So
that would be more of a sedative one you had right there, the purple one.
the purple lotus is an indica that we're putting in there, and it's very relaxing, but it also helps with neuropathy. It helps with inflammation and pain.
Oh, I love that.
They're playing with
I'm
the
gonna have
cars.
fun here now.
this is how we pass joints.
You can't.
You give her toy, she doesn't focus.
Yes.
She needs weed then.
You know what I mean? Hold on.
No, she's
Oh,
failed.
Gotta back it up all the way. Oh, I
love
like
it.
that.
And
Come on now, boys. She's trying to
I know.
increase our intelligence here.
and also we
Boys.
use glass tips here. You can show them that. And we do also ashwood tips or bamboo tips.
Correct.
I love the glass tip touch.
Yes, yes.
I mean, this
People
one's
very much undervalue that.
right.
Yeah, I like that.
It smokes smoother, nicer. It's classy. And I like that you can recycle it. And it's, you know, something to be proud of. And if we do put a filter in it, which let's see here, I have one here that here, you show that one. It has corn husk in
My
it
favorite.
with glass.
Oh man, look at
So we're doing nice big blunts. We're doing Hardy King blunts. This is,
yes.
I'll show you Sam's
Yes.
favorite with the tea leaves.
The tea leaves.
Everyone is gonna love this.
Look
Tea
at that
leaf.
ashwood.
And a wood tip.
Now tell
Come
them
on.
what you think it
The
looks like.
black and mild vibe. I love it. Yeah.
I was waiting for you to say when we saw these. I said everyone's gonna love these.
What's your flavor? What's your flavor? I gotta know.
Tell 'em what's
Oh,
in it.
so the cowboy basil is going in there. And when I tell you it smokes beautiful, just like a cigar, it's amazing. You guys are gonna love
We're getting organic petals from an organic farm in India. And people go, oh, India's not like that. They're very industrial. But we searched out and found a woman owned farm that her husband signed over to her and her daughters, that Pam is now hired 300 women from her village outside of New Delhi that we're actually helping them live, giving them a living wage, and they create these for us. So we go and say, here's what we want. Here's the idea.
That's the best. That's the best comeback ever. For well, in India, blah 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 blah, and just saying that, I would love to see a camera of the expression change from the blah 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 to where you just said it'd be like a shrinking expression into
Just
someone
It's
trying to
slowly
will.
evolving into despair.
Yeah, trying to
Right.
will-
You know,
Right.
because then I'm like, no, we
No,
are
that's good.
right by the world and leaving our
Yes.
footprint, and we're helping people have a decent wage, have a career, you know, and be able to do something and give back to women empowerment, and also giving them something to look forward to every day, to where we were told by the owner of the farm that a lot of these women didn't want to be married off. You know, that the dad's like, sorry, you're 15, you're going to Joe down the street, you know, and they didn't want that. And now there was an opportunity to open this farm and do this for us organically and create products for us. And we partnered with them.
How, as far as care for your plants, do you guys play music for them? Do you sing to them? Everyone I've brought this up to so far has laughed at me.
No. You know what I play for my
I am
plants?
laughing. Sorry.
Can you guess what kind of music I would play on my hippy dippy me?
EDM music?
I heard no. I actually play ABBA and Stevie Nicks.
I love that. She's gonna love that. We had a growth that we did at the start of COVID, and every night when I'd go to bed, when I go to say goodnight to her, she'd be in the plant room either playing EDM music for it or just talking to it and like brushing it and interacting with it. And everyone I've told her so far that has had the opposite reaction when I said, "Do you sing or talk?" Like she gets really upset. She's like, "No, this is the living thing."
Yeah, it must have a website, a contact point, a website of some sort. You must.
JustAWomanCannabis.com.
Yep.
You can look for Sam. Sam's all
Yeah. We have our Instagram, same thing, Just a Woman Cannabis.
Yep. Check them out and come to Mad Hatter and check out their products. They got great stuff here, and we're excited to.
Yeah,
awesome ladies, super friendly. If you ever see them at an event, say hi. They're just awesome to talk to.
But
JustAWomanCannabis.com.
Lefty, I love that. That was an awesome showcase of Just a Woman Cannabis. Have you guys gotten a Mad Hatter commercial yet? Like specifically like a promo or whatever just for the dispo?
No, we don't have a Mad Hatter commercial yet, but we're working on that, and that's coming soon.
Interesting. That's why I was excited. I thought that's what I was gonna say here. I thought I was gonna see a cool commercial or promo.
Yeah, I'm interested. I was looking at you, and a Scutari flashed in front of me when I heard no, but yeah, we're working on that. We're working on that. We're gonna have that soon.
Jim keeps it right on point.
And I'm just saying it's kind of funny because you mean it, but the last thing Scutari says, yeah, actually we've been talking about it actually, and he ran away from you. You know.
Yeah, who's this we?
Yeah. Well, no, you're the other side of that coin. You know, for every jerk off that just says that. You know? I mean, yeah, Al Gore had a lot of balls writing a book called The Inconvenient Truth when he ran away from the medical marijuana thing we had going for him here while he was a candidate. You know. Bastard, that was my title. Well, the doctors whom I trust say that there's effective alternatives for everything marijuana is supposed to be good for. To be able to say thanks, please, all you need to do is tell me who are the doctors whose opinion you trust, you know, and I can ask them. And the fact that he did everything, you know, he couldn't. That's really a reasonable question when somebody's offering opinions out of their expertise to say, where do you know, can I access your source of information to see what's going on? What would that be?
Yeah, I think it's amazing that a hearing and a vote is coming on this stupid law for cannabis, but home grow for patients and disabled vets still languishing.
You know, I mean, if they end up passing this law in New Jersey criminalizing the possession of cannabis that's not bought at a legal store, I'm gonna drive right to Mawa and tell them to arrest me. Like, I'll be like, I got this weed for my religion. I'm not telling you where I bought it. You're gonna arrest me? I'll film it. You know.
Well, what if you grow it in New York legally and you bring it over state lines? Can you do that?
No, they can refer you to the feds if they want to get you for federal crimes if they want. I wouldn't admit to that. I would just say that you know, I would say I obtained this from a non-licensed business. You can either arrest me or this is your or you can never arrest me for this in the future. Here's the weed. You know?
Bring your New York cannabis that you grew in there over to Jersey ever?
No, I mean I'll do whatever I want in that regard, but I would leave that. I would leave that out of the you know.
Well, they
No,
would
well, I
ask,
mean,
they would ask you where you got it though, and you know, then you'd be in a position.
I would say from an unlicensed vendor.
Yeah, but they would say, well, that's not even proof. You know, you're gonna be sucker us to what? Go after you, and you're gonna say, oh, you can't prove it. Of course, they can't prove it. You know.
No, unless I have
they wouldn't bite. They really wouldn't.
No, a receipt. If you got it from a legal cannabis store, you would have a receipt to prove it. Without that, the assumption is you don't, and then you won't be able to prove without that receipt that you did purchase it legally. So anyway,
yeah.
if they pass that, I'll bring some weed to Mahwah Police Department and try to get arrested.
It would be absolutely interesting. I mean,
that law's so stupid they can't enforce it. They could not enforce it, and I would definitely jump back into the fray in that context.
Well, you know, when push came to shove, well, it didn't really, but with Cheryl doing her illegal test from her hospital bed, as announced in the Star-Ledger, yeah, they did. You know, they weren't going to bite with that. I was kind of hoping they would, because you'd be really in control if you do what you said. You could really kind of lead them by the nose, and that would be awesome. You know, I mean, somebody really should. I think that's, you know, if you can get them to bite.
Well, there's no bite. If they don't arrest me, then the assertion is that it's not against the law for me to, you know, if you come in and you say, hey, look, I obtained this illegally in violation of the law.
No. They do that. Their discretion is absolute, and they could come off looking like, listen, we're putting this below all sorts of other stuff we have to do, whether the Attorney General would tell us or not. So we're opting to not do this, and that's the best we can do. You know, I mean, they could come out looking good, but no matter what the outcome is, doing something like that would not happen under the radar. So if you can get that to happen, you know,
it's like if cocaine is illegal and you go into a police department and say, "Here, I've got cocaine. Look at it. Arrest me."
Yeah,
if they choose, but drugs are drugs in terms of the cops. So if they were to not arrest you for it,
they get to triage drugs too. You know that difference between coke. Oh, come on. You know
no, but what I mean is if the law says something's illegal, and you literally try to drop it in their lap and say, you know, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty is we get to see, and you know, I've been wrong and not been able to get arrested. Actually, a couple times. You know,
well, that's the trick, right?
Yeah,
it's a fork gambit. If you get arrested, you fight it. If they don't arrest you, you've won. You know, if they don't arrest you, you assert that right elsewhere multiple times with other people, and you know, spread the essentially legal protection.
I am all for. I love it when anybody, you know, in other words, when somebody do something like, well, then I'll lock myself to the door. I'm like, okay, we all know it's not going to change anything, but it's a great optic, you know. And so,
well, that's different. If you lock yourself to a door such that they can't enter the doors, that's good protest.
Well,
you get arrested.
More like a pillar, you know. In other words, a pillar of the State House. I mean, that'd be awesome. You know, like actually between two of them, kind of like Samson.
Well, I mean,
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Trying to pull.
You know, if you
the bomb is taking effect.
I mean, if you guys want to lock yourselves to the doors, thus preventing the doors open, I'll participate in that.
Jeff Oaks
sounds like fun. You know, like putting your body in the way is.
That was Jeff Oaks's idea. He really, when I first met him, you know, he wanted to do that, and I told him, well, dude, I'll help you, you know, but I didn't dissuade him. I was kind of glad that he didn't really plan it out further than that, though. But that's what gets noticed, you know. It's there's no guarantees. I just appreciate when anybody makes a move to do something where it can be noticed where otherwise wouldn't. It could have an effect. It's just sometimes a lot of time gets wasted more with other stuff than what we're doing on. And if you can't move the needle, pretty much everything we discuss has a point that could move something one day. But I guess what I'm referring to more is the banter. Facebook is my, unfortunately, main means of having any kind of push. And it's just become a cesspool of, oh, yeah, but what about this? Oh, yeah, but what about that? And what I keep saying, somebody please show me a screenshot. Somebody must have a screenshot of where somebody said, oh, now that you mention it that way, I didn't know that. I see your point, and I agree. You know, I'd like to see that once. Unfortunately, I've seen it once, but it was me that caused it by offering new information at just the right time and way. But I don't take credit for that because otherwise I can't say I've never seen it happen. My way of saying to a lot of people, if there's things that we're not getting done, I try to limit the time that I do that. And I'll be honest with you. A lot of what I do is I'll read the Yahoo News because I can limit it and cut it off or slow it down if I need to. And then I write a shit ass comment, and sometimes I send it in, most times I don't. But somehow just writing down a quick reply. But the thing is, I don't put it up on Facebook for comment because I don't want comments. When I do, I'm quite clear. Don't be insulted if I don't get back here, but I've already wasted enough time, and it's really to no avail. People just trying to like somehow in their own minds believe they're as right as they think they are. I actually don't see the thing is it's more important now. I feel traction in New Jersey. I haven't felt that in a long time, and I when I did, I was wrong about it. But I think we really are at the point where we can let Qatari let go of the patient home grow rope and make sure he understands that the way to do it would not be to suggest the most extreme pilot program he could think of by dividing patients up into who's sick enough and who's not quite sick enough. And his, that'd be a fallacy, but I think he's going to have to start to let go of that because Joe Vitelli co-sponsored his own bill after 4 years. A bill in his committee. He co-sponsored a bill he wants to be heard. He co-sponsored a bill that keeps being denied being posted by our Senate president. Of course, Qatari is only responsible for 3 years of that. But Joe Vitelli does ask for it to be happening, probably a couple of times a year, not much more. You don't want to piss off the Senate president. But for him to add his name, I don't know if it coincided with getting finally co-sponsorship in the assembly as well, as if to say, hey, maybe we'll go first if you don't get your shit together. That could happen. This is when I need to really go back and make sure I have an accurate account. He also was on the other end of that way back when Reed Gusior wrote the bill. He took it identically in the Senate, but it was going too slow in the assembly where it looked like it was going to go there first. And Scutari jumped the gun in the Senate, really pissing off Roseanne Scotti of what was the Drug Policy Alliance then, who had the money for anything in New Jersey. The ones who did the poll that cost $35,000.
I totally lost audio. I hate this app.
Sorry. Yeah, it's just anyway. It's yeah. This running out the clock. It really can't go. Even Scutari knows that it can't go on much longer. It's way too obvious, and now he's got a bill that he wants to get passed. Maybe the price of admission for staying out of his way on that is to allow Vitelli to post a bill. So I would say that would be the offer that should be made. You're going to get the most pushback we can muster over the irony and degradation that patients will feel with you doing this while keeping them from having any hearings on being able to grow their own medicine. Basically that opens the door for pushback because it is relatable. And what he needs to do is allow that bill to be posted for a hearing. We'll stay out of his way. I will. I can't vouch for the rest, but yeah, I would definitely. We have no teeth, though. I don't think that's going to be anything he's going to really spend much time on worrying about. Still, it is something that could affect and increase the traction that we're already kind of feeling. You know, it might jumpstart the assembly and put a burden on Craig Coughlin because he's in the way in the assembly. So, you know, we need to diversify a little bit. Of course, I will always say finding patients in their districts, even though Craig Coughlin, you know, his decisions affect me in whatever district on this. But going through constituents just seems wise. I don't know. I'm almost done giving that a shot. I'm going to work with the people I got already, but it would be nice. And that is insulting, though. Yeah, that was what, when I would go to like hippie tribe events and things, it was that it's, yeah, I get to get medicine at a cost I can afford because being the patron, I had no penalty to pay. That allowed me to be fully medicated and have the money to do it. And that's just kind of the way it works. And Scutari's just, he just needs to get as much money into the treasury as possible. It's not about protecting people and making sure products are tested and safe and all that. It's not about that at all. It's about keeping the flow going as long as possible. And I'll tell you, Lefty, though, I do smell it. I do feel that adults are going to really start ramping it back up. I'm not sure why. You know, maybe just from an entirely different direction, but you know, the coalition for home grow is really keeping things current, and that has great value. I mean, even if there's not motion that we see, I got to tell you though, I don't know what it costs to have that service where you can so easily just let her get sent to your own legislators, and you know, you add to it what's been going on. There's a couple of them this last week, but that is easy. You know, feels good adding stuff to the letter too, whether it makes a difference or not. You know, when I was asking a friendly legislator, I always thought stuff like that. Okay, it's a CapWiz thing or whatever. It's an organized thing. It's not all these people coming from individual directions. They're all coming from the same direction. And I thought that wouldn't count as much. You know, like 200 people with one letter, or 200 people with different letters coming from all directions. And I was so surprised. Guy looked me in the face and said, "No, actually, that's what we look for. That shows organization. You know, it's the independent ones coming from all over that don't worry legislators as much." And now that makes total sense. So I was willing then to say, okay, Jim, you know, I mean, this was like 20 years ago. I'd been doing it for a decade already, and I didn't get the basic flow of that, but it makes perfect sense. So that's why I think it's great every time there is one to sign. And, you know, and it's long, it makes the point, but it's not to convince anybody's mind. It's creating a record in and of itself, you know, that people think the legislators read and aren't ignorant of that information. I'm sure they've glanced at it, but it's in the amount of response. And I don't know, it does. It's just, it's ready to go. You know, this rock slide is ready to start moving.
The momentum is there.
Well, I think it's time to consider being a little more regular. I'm talking to myself right now, actually. In other words, that I need to make sure I have a certain amount of time that I have to really consider things I haven't considered, or what other people have in mind, and kind of re-examining and saying, you know, I could help there a little bit. You know, I mean, just today it was fun being part of a head count, signing a petition yesterday. real quick. It just feels like all that does, that's the simple stuff. And there's enough of it to be doing now.
I wanted to take this opportunity here. Lefty, what time is the event Saturday? It's noon to what?
Noon until the dabs run out.
So yeah, I guess that's the time frame there. So starting at noon on Saturday, the Mad Hatter is going to be hosting an event. If you've never been to a cannabis event and you're watching this, I highly suggest you come and go to more. They are a ton of fun, and you meet a lot of cool people, you try a lot of cool stuff.
It's legal. A legal event.
Well, and it's easy to get to from about anywhere in New Jersey. I mean, there's direct. It's in a good spot to get to.
Come on out Saturday. Are we going to be casting that day?
I think so. I think I'm going to set the old podcasts setup of Broadway in there so that people can pass joints with the cars like we used to do.
What was it? We should take that day that would be prime day to get footage for like a good view of your commercial that you want to get there.
Oh yeah, that'll be a great day for footage.
I'll make sure to bring the I'm saying this because I got to close out and go eat some dinner because I feel myself fainting, but I'll make sure to bring my my wheel, tripod, and drone. We'll get some good shots that day. I'm only going to be able to stay till about 2:30, 3 o'clock because I have a job to do after. But other than that, like I said, I have to close out because I have to go eat something because I feel myself fading. But I want to remind everyone about that. And also, there's a new episode of the Bucket Cast up on the YouTube channel. Please go check it out. We discussed George Lowe passed recently. Leaving as soon as Sue is showing up. George Lowe passed recently. I discussed that and the impact of him and Adult Swim on my life. So go check that out. I really appreciate it. And please, I hope to see you guys out there Saturday, getting high with us and having a grand old time. But for now, I'm signing off. You guys have a good night, all right?
So, Lefty, are you sure Mike isn't like in the waiting room under your radar or something? Hi, Sue.
Hi, Sue. No, he might be on California.
Wait a minute. You know what? He just sent me a message. Let me see what it says.
Okay. I mean,
let's see. I'm
real happy about.
Okay, he says, I just got off the phone, then answered your message, blah, 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 blah. And he is getting on every podcast that he can. So I guess he's getting on. Are you coming on?
Well, if he can, he can. If he can't, he can't. He's just a really easy guest, and it'd be really nice to hear laid out what his last 10 days were like. A lot of peaks and valleys in a very tight frequency for him, and it's just interesting. I was saying before, doing one of his walks and talks, watching one time, it really felt in motion.
How did it feel, Jim?
How did it feel?
Because you froze up.
I don't understand.
You said it felt, and then you froze.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Okay, I could make up something else then, couldn't I?
Sure could.
You forgot
what I said.
You haven't seen your mom.
Off the cuff. It was how you'd have to have heard the nuance that I said it. I don't know if I could recreate it that way. So, the damn freeze. Sometimes the best things are just lost forever. I'm in a very nicely medicated move with little finger licks of food grade balm that keeps the feet feeling good. It's like this all-purpose entry, a little bit of smoke. I'm trying to keep it a good level, and it's been quite a good day, Oh yeah, and Sue, it was like really weird that I was on Steve Way's Facebook page because I wanted to,
You just happened on there, right?
No. I was looking. Normally, it was like, okay, I want to go. I'm not going to wait till it's getting close to 4. I mean, I've already been digging pretty good at Steve. I find him fascinating, and I was real happy about this. And I want to just be like, well, let me just spend some time. And I went back, but when it got to February 17th, I saw this thing about a Protect Medicare rally at the State House. It was a matter of seconds. I wish I could see my face, what it looks like at a moment like that, where I'm right away to it. And then I see State House, New Jersey. Oh, when? March 6th. And then I look down in the bottom corner of the computer screen, and it confirms it is indeed March 6th. And it's like 12:40 something. Mm-hmm. And then I look up, and the time is from 12 to 2. And I do the math real quick, 25 minutes. And at that moment, Kathy was getting back, opening the door. And I'm like, yeah, you wanted to go somewhere. Listen, this is about Medicare. And I know you don't like Elon. And he's the one, and I don't think it directly affect me, but let's go. And that was awesome because it was okay. And I got to drive. So, we did get there and out, and people had already, I mean, it was like not chilly, but you could hear that something going on as you slowly walked up the street. And it was good to see. My quick estimate would be about 300 people, which is pretty good.
Wow,
I mean,
that's pretty good for
yeah. It was, and there is really a couple of dozen wheelchairs. They were then when I read about.
So you put that. You said there was about 25 wheelchairs.
Yeah.
They have ramps to get on the State House lawn.
No, they didn't. I told you that before. I thought, you know what? Who would think? I mean, it's really ironic because there's plenty of room, but if I'm in a wheelchair, I know when people are going like this to get around me, and I could just easily be sitting still on that side right there, right alongside it where there's lots of extra room. They were by and large filling up all the concrete, and sporadically along. So it was a really good. Put up some decent pictures.
I knew the answer. I just said the question anyway.
I know, but that's it. Good. That's that's being a good host.
That's your State House. That is your State House right there. With that wheelchair access to the.
Yeah, but it would have been so cool to have a couple of cones and your small ramp.
Oh, yeah.
And put it there because I think some would have liked to have done that.
Yep.
Step is a wall. And I was surprised nobody was going down. When you get all around the fountain there, there's like about a step down. The concrete there juts out onto and over a little bit, a certain amount of the walkway, and people would be like up there and go off and hit that and do a little quick stumble. And I'm thinking, oh boy. But it was nice, and the sound wasn't so great, but it was just so good to see that many people and a lot. I mean, they had vehicles for transport already to and from the train station. They were quite clear on what I read on Steve Way's thing on his website. Transportation will not be your problem. They had a generous donation from somebody to make it happen, and to have 2 handicap accessible porta potties. I believe there's 2. I don't think there's 3. And just everything seemed to be organized. They had folding chairs, maybe 40 or so, kind of like where you would be right up where the steps are where you'd go in, because they were at the top there with people, because there's ramps right up there too. And, it was for other people to be able to sit down. And they were
were you guys on the Homegrown meeting yesterday?
I wasn't. No.
That Lefty sent us a text 5 minutes before it was over.
Yeah, right. Yeah, timing.
I said when? It's over.
Yeah. I need to like really remember okay, Wednesday also. I'm a like Tuesday, Thursday guy.
What is that? Is that a standing meeting now on
Yeah,
Wednesday?
It has been for a long time, I think.
Okay, well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And what time does it begin?
I think it's 6ish. I could be wrong. You know, I often am. Matter of fact, I wouldn't even. I take back my answer in case somebody would act on it.
Did you send me the link?
It's a yeah. Okay.
All right.
It's a Google. Yeah, it's a Google thing that I didn't once or twice when I tried to get on. It was like I'm not a Google guy. A Google guy. So but I am now. I just all of a sudden at 6. Damn it, And but with the stuff going on, there will be that another time in Trenton, pretty much coinciding with Earth Day again at the end of April 20 something. So the last time it was planting a garden. That was like pretty unique.
I watched it. I watched it from afar.
Yeah, it was unique, and it really identified where a certain boundary without going over, go to the edge of the envelope and all. And it was just a pleasure to watch. The shoe was on the other foot. No, you have to take that with you, as opposed to give it me. I'm taking it and you're in trouble. It's like, no. And you have to take it with you when you go. Not rip it up. It was like weird. But we did, you get a good feel of a pulse of when something like that happens. I don't know what the focus is going to be, but they're pretty good at tying things together, piggybacking. What else would go good, And they still have ample time to, tighten it up. So I'm looking forward to that. I remember it's also on the anniversary of another year the bill hasn't been heard when it gets to February.
Lefty, how was that Homegrown meeting yesterday?
Yes, how was it?
Those meetings are great. They're very informative. They're really on the ball. They really have their finger on the pulse of what's going on. And
so what's going on?
There was some new people. There was a couple of new people there talking about their opinions on what's happening with Scutari and some growers.
What about plans or tightening stuff up? Stuff like
what's the meat?
Well, we're having our meetings every month on the fourth Thursday. There's nothing for them really coming up except they do have an event coming up.
Well, April they do.
Is it April? Yeah.
Well, it's around the same time as their Earth Day garden planting.
Yeah.
Last year, so it's right around then. That's the fact that it went how it did last year.
Look, Adam and his twin.
Yeah, it just seems like it'll.
I have so much trouble with this app. I don't know where to start. Literally, if I do anything else on my phone, like check a text message, it kicks me out of this.
Yeah, when I was trying to get on, I got kicked out a couple of times.
No, like every single.
You can call into my phone if you want.
No, I mean it's just that I just have to be quick. If someone texts me and I take a look, I have to come back real fast. Otherwise, the app decides I'm gone.
Otherwise, it disappears. I know. Do you have a cold?
Yeah.
Yeah, you sound it.
That's why I'm using the volcano, good old school volcano.
And also take a spoonful of honey twice a day. Raw honey.
I got it. I got a big jar.
Good.
Just a spoonful of honey makes the
medicine go down.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a pretty bad chest cold for like 3 days, but it's on its way out.
Everybody's had that chest cold. I really think it's the air quality. I don't know.
I'm surprised I got it so late. Everyone I know had a chest cold before me.
Yeah. I sneeze. I do a lot of sneezing. I haven't gotten a chest cold. All right, so I guess Mike's not showing up. Okay, he's done now because 3 strikes. You guys want him on? You ask him yourself. I'm not asking him anymore.
Nobody's done. It's a negotiating tactic.
Yeah, well, I'm not the negotiator.
No. I mean, like in light of what's going on at the federal
Art
level.
of the deal.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's when somebody said something like, "Oh yeah, that's on the table," it occurred to me, why isn't everything on the table? What is it that's off the table that cannot be talked about? I mean, I know it's just a saying. Yeah, that's on the table. It would be better defined for what isn't on the table and why.
So what's on the table now? What Lefty? What's on the table from yesterday's meeting? Lefty's frozen and faded.
I think he's faking it. No.
Oh, there he is.
No, Lefty's in his car.
He froze.
I know, but he froze and then he was like fading.
Froze into a semi AI looking.
Am I frozen?
Very still.
No, you're good now.
Yeah.
You're good.
How do we know it's not AI? Show us your hands. I want to count your fingers.
He's gone now. Daylight savings time is this weekend too.
That should be better.
Can AI do that? I don't think
There
so.
we go. That should be better.
No, that's Apple proof.
I hope you can all hear me now.
Yes.
I can hear you. Now say something worth hearing.
Yeah, tell us about yesterday.
You can hear that.
Jim's gonna whistle Jeopardy.
That's what I do when I'm in line and I'm impatient. I whistle that, and sometimes you get people to whistle along with you. Boom. Right on down to the boom at the end,
Lefty, I want to hear about the meeting yesterday.
There was a lot of new people just introducing themselves and talking about, their
how many people would be about? How many people were taking part? And is it like a whole bunch of people on a screen like this, or is it a?
Yeah,
it was about 12 people. I sent you the link. There's about 12 people on.
Yeah.
Usually Kristen's on, but Andrea was on. Mike Burry.
Yeah.
They went today. The one big event was to go today to the State House to talk about the bill that's they're putting up.
The bill on the table.
Yeah.
Same color as a table. Nobody can see it. Hiding
What is the bill? What does the bill say exactly? Do you have the words for it?
What the bill that they voted on yesterday was the it's to make it easier for the industry to do stuff. What was it? Something for the industry, to help the industry. What was
that?
It?
Was the one that makes it illegal to buy and sell?
No, it was a banking. It was a banking bill.
Right.
It was a banking bill. That was the big deal yesterday, and the CRC meeting was canceled. So, still waiting on that one.
Or they're waiting for me to file my
petition
intention to take. No, I want to take part. I'm definitely going to have something to say. It the 19th, I think it is the next date. I could be wrong. I keep saying that. I shouldn't keep. Yeah, I keep saying. Yeah, I know, but sometimes it's like, nah, I'm not wrong. I got blinders for that, Just don't turn and look all the way, and I'm right. Oh, yeah, it's crazy. I gotta say though, it's the how quick things are changing with national news. The nuances each day. I'm not sure.
Yeah. He's got 25% tariffs against Canada and Mexico and China, and then he pulls them back again.
Yeah.
This is the second time he's done that.
The art of the deal.
Yeah,
right. Well, the art of the deal.
We're not dealing.
Always deal from a position of strength. And it's not strong when you don't know what to do and you prove it by doing something. Oh no? Okay. Well, no. No. What I need to do,
Yeah. And he doesn't. Never mind.
But there are worldwide ripples in stock markets and things just because of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's different. Here's my 2 cents. I think that he's going to crash the markets and cause a recession so that they drop the interest rates in order to bounce back.
I tend to agree with that.
He's trying to crash. He's trying to crash the economy.
I agree.
And then because in a capitalist business person's mind, that's the way to fix America. You just you turn the money on again, and the only way to turn the money on again is to lower the rates. And the only way that the rates are going to go down is if prices go up and people can't afford to live.
That's so out of his league, though.
No, what do you mean? He's now the president of the United States, and whatever he says or does manipulates markets. So I also presume that him and his buddies are going to make money on these swings, but that's a secondary thing, because they're insider trading basically. But so even if it works, that's going to be bad for everyone who's not rich.
Well, I think that could be a result that's even unintended, but I would never give him enough credit to be able to get that into his 5th grade head of being something that might or might not work. I think that's almost like
Jim, he's a puppet. He's a puppet. So there's smart people behind him that see this vision. He doesn't have a vision. He can't even stand up straight.
I know.
I mean, like, whatever we think about him, we he's not so dumb that he can't, think about how to make money. He's just again, capitalists. You don't have to be that smart to be good at capitalism. You don't have to be that smart at, to be good at cheating and cutting corners and bullshitting people. You can be really good at that without being a genius.
Yeah.
So like, if that same skill set is applied to our country, again,
but they're different.
It's so wild.
Look, the skill set that it takes to run a business and cut corners, to think that works on a world stage with ripples that do not happen in a business world, that are going to be continually surprised. No, you can't run a country like you run a business. It's different worlds, and we're gonna find out. And
he's gonna try. Yeah.
For my money, it's still batter up time. It's the misses and the foul balls and the delays of game being called. All this stuff. It's like a Band-Aid being ripped off quick rather than a long time and a torturous where we're going. I guess I'd rather the hill be that kind of steep.
Yeah, but Jim, think about this. They've had 4 years to do this, to come up with their plan, and this is what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and he's the spokesperson. He's not, he's a good bullshitter.
Well, then he'll make a great fall guy,
and he will be. And that's exactly what
be that.
Our whole system is designed that way. The other party is the fall guy, and then you switch.
Well, you attack him, the figurehead, because you can't. You spend too much time trying to draw out who it really is and prove who it is, and that's who's really doing it. Wasting all the time on that, the clock's still ticking. So it's kind of fun to go directly to him. Okay, it's much like also when I saw sympathy for that gathering back in Washington. Everybody, Montel was there. I picked an office for everybody to go to, and there was a lot of people, and they were all crowding this office. And the guy at the desk and somebody said, "Hey, it's not his fault," And then I, having the stage and the voice of reason, said, "Be that as it may, but it's our job to give him all the shit that his boss deserves." So he tells his boss, "They were giving me all your shit." Yes, our job is to make this as unpleasant as possible for him, the one at the door. Sorry, I mean, that's just the way it goes. You can't, it's not personal. It's not like beating somebody, and it was just sort of the intensity, and plus I knew him from just the two of us. And I had a personal reason to be happy to see that, mostly because when I went and talked to him weeks before saying, you guys are up for the office we're all coming to. It was there was nobody in Washington then. I like going then because you have the staff's full attention. So there was a guy, obviously about 4 or 5 people there, and he was the one kind of holding court just by the body mannerisms. And when I went in and we talked, I kept calling him Congressman Souter, and they'd go Souter, and I go whatever. So Congressman Souter, whatever, just having fun. But at one point, when I was talking to him, he looked away. He kind of looked down, and it's me talking to him, and he looked down while I was talking just for no apparent reason. And I immediately dropped down into his vision and was talking to him like that. And then I slowly stood back up. And as I did, his face came back up, still looking. And then I lost my place. And I remember my recovery was, dude, you're going to have to grow a way thicker skin than that if you're going to be doing this here in this office. Yeah. So anyway, that was nice when I brought back my friends. It was really kind of cool. And, yeah, that was then, and this is now. We don't get to do that here. I was so impressed with the look of the crowd today, and the people that were obviously literally had skin in the game. I don't know. I mean, I do postmortems of other people's event and go, well, man, you got your shit together, getting everybody together. But the sound system was like really kind of hard, and without telling people clearly, don't move the microphone like that because it disappears. It was the intensity was nice, except it just reminded me a little bit of the Democratic convention thing, where Kamala would get the crowd all jazzed up, and Waltz would come out and do that, and then somebody be talking and pick any 3 syllables, that's no good. That's no good. That's no good. And they'd yell that for a while. And then somewhere something would happen and somebody'd yell one. It was almost like trying to get a wave going or something. But it seems sophomoric when it happens every 4 or 5 minutes. And it was happening a lot, so I felt like, I don't know. 3-word statement. Oh no, too many syllables. The 3-word chant. It was just fun showing up and being part of it, and not like it was part of a head count that mattered worth the shit to anybody, but it's just, I don't know. It felt good seeing people that went through a lot more trouble than me to get out. I mean, out of all the people there, 25-minute drive and healthy enough to park and walk. And you realize this was some people's day, what it would take to get there and back. And you could just see people felt empowered being there too. It was a really good vibe, I thought. I had my share of baller, only it's way louder, Yeah. I don't woo woo. And Baru is like a wolf, it's like, a friend of mine I get dogs to do that when a siren would go off and they'd start, making noise, and he'd be going, "Baller," and this goes way back. But we found that was a good way to find each other at the beach. Like that was back in like my short years of surfing and being at the beach. And so to find somebody at a beach, you can hear that. At a concert, people, you can hear that, and it clearly it carries, and I have one of the best. I've owned it. It's a full moon thing. You're muted.
Since all 4 of us are here, we can have a quick board meeting, first of the year. Okay. Welcome to the Sativa Cross board meeting. Roll call: Adam, Sue, Jim, Lefty, you're here. Approve last year's minutes.
Yes.
Yes. I just had to pay StreamYard's bill. We don't have enough in the account. We're getting $80 or $90 from Facebook. I had to pay $400 and something for StreamYard's access for another year. I forgot how much it was. It was a lot of money.
What's the difference?
It's about $300. I'm going to take whatever we get, and then figure out what the rest is, try to get paid back for that. But if I don't, I don't. It's not the first time I paid for something. You know, activism's expensive, and
yes, it is. We work for free.
You also take hits. It's actually less because you're actually taking hits from other shit that happens to you as well. So
yeah,
money, and your soul.
Yeah, I did an estimate of how much it cost in the 90s and through the 15, and man, it is not cheap. I mean, just borrowing $6,500 to get people to New Jersey, including LV to be the legal smoker and patient, Eddie Smith, it's sort of like, oh, I want that guy. You mean somebody went into Al Gore's Texas campaign headquarters, a guy named Eddie Smith. He has cancer and AIDS, and he lit a joint in the campaign. Main guys, and Kevin Zeese was there with him, and somebody else, and they were like, uh-oh. And it to me was famous. It's sort of like he said to Eddie, "Can't you do that somewhere else?" And he said, "If not here, where?" And the guy was sort of like lost for words. He let the security go away. Eddie finished his joint, and then I said, "Hey, would you like to come to New Jersey and have a?"
So I like that. So if not here, where? So if not now, when?
Right. Exactly. Yep.
That could be.
I've heard that before.
That could be the new mantra for the next video that we do for Homegrown.
With the if not,
I like
now,
that.
Right?
Not now, when?
Not now, when?
But couple, if not now, when? With now is always the right time to do the right thing. That's who said that? That's somebody saying now is always the right time to do the right thing. Oh, come on! I didn't make it. Yes, I did. No, I didn't. But anyway, I always liked that one. I mean, that was that was like a John Lewis thing or something. I mean, the good trouble, sort of statement. I don't know. I'll look it up. I mean, I could find it out. If I'm the one that can think to do this and get it done like that quick, I'm going to be like, hot shit, man. I'm not the weak link anymore. Okay, come on. But Jimmy don't type, so I'll have to. Come on, man.
I wish I knew what happened.
Now is always the right time to do the right thing. What do we got? What we got is glasses.
Okay, so listen. So I have this really cool guest that I'm going to invite. Her name, she goes by Nurse Blue, BLUE. She's really cool. She's from Michigan. She does this whole thing with teaching, and she's got a great presentation, and she does a whole lot of consulting with the industries out there. So I'm going to see what her time is like and bring her on. You will really like her, because I was good about it.
Martin Luther King. It was the time is always right to do what is right. So my paraphrase was
Mad Hatter cheddar cheese flour. Okay.
It's commercial time. At Mad Hatter, they have their own brand, and it's called cheddar cheese. This is an indica that I really enjoyed just now. I just smoked it. I loved it. And it's cannabis undertones with rich, earthy, and funky base. By Love Grow. Love Grow, 27%. It's got beta myrcene, beta carotene, guaiacol, terpenol, and beta eudicinol. All right, there's some terps I haven't heard in a while.
I like BCP is really good. I like that terpene.
Not for nothing. And I say this with all love. You might work on getting that shit to roll off your tongue really good, because I know it's really impressive to me when it's like, let's hear this from Bob and all, and let it rip,
I think that was the first board meeting with a commercial in it.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Well,
Nice.
that was pretty good weed. It helped my pain. It's an indica and it helped my pain. So
Good.
They should be able to have like, you go out to your car and can do that. That's good.
Lefty, use some BCP too, twice a day.
This here building is where the party is going to be this weekend here.
You didn't hear me.
I hear you. BCP.
Okay. You know, I always have to say to my husband, did you hear me? Because he doesn't acknowledge me when so I don't know, you know how you guys are. You just tune everybody out.
We're the worst. Guys are the worst.
You are. You're horrible.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
Come on, as a T-ball, I got to say that, Yeah. You ever try saying, I do it, I totally right term, saying something like, well, my second best relief comes from that. And somebody has to say, what's the first? It begs the question. Oh, now that you ask, and you go off into your commercial.
It's your tangent.
So the cheddar cheese, it works good on the pain. That's good to know.
Helpful for pain, yep, and it's their own brand.
Does it taste like cheddar cheese?
Yeah, it's cheesy, all right. I love the cheese. I love gassy, cheesy, stinky.
I'm getting me some cheese on one of Patrick Duff's Camden style chicken cheesesteaks tomorrow.
A chicken cheesesteak? What the heck?
Camden style chicken cheesesteak.
At his restaurant. He's got a restaurant apparently down there. Yeah.
Let me tell you what.
Well, tell me what a chicken cheesesteak is.
Well, that'd be like a cheesesteak using chicken instead of steak.
Oh, okay.
And the thing is, and the Camden style is like on a poppy seed roll steamed. He's very particular, but not anal about doing what he considers to be a really good home test and trial and error. And I'm telling you, seriously, that was the best tasting chicken conch sandwich of any kind. The one that I had in my life, to the point of I'm trying not to be Bill Murray. What about Bob? I don't know if you saw that. Yeah. What about he's doing as a dinner, And all I can do is I'm chewing it, closing my eyes so nobody will talk to me. I'm like trying to go, holy crap, this is so good, trying not to show it. But so was the ribeye that he uses with the Camden style cheesesteak. Apparently, there's a place in Camden called Donkey's that had a specific Donkey's cheesesteak that was different than your Philadelphia cheesesteak, Philly cheesesteaks. Okay, so it's not on the big long roll and stuff like that, but other stuff. And Patrick's like, but I put cheese in it. But he does it all. It's really, really good. It's weird because you hope it's good because you want to say, hey, that's really good. And then to be put in a position where you got to tone down
how good it is.
How good I think it is to tell him that I think it's good. Because, it's amazing. I don't want to be like Jimmy Fallon on the Tonight Show all the time, that he's over the top. I don't want to look like that, I hate that. Over exuberant reactions. But I told him I want to go through the menu, so I'm trying to get there every 7 days. Not even 2 weeks. So it's going to be in the 10-day mark. We're going tomorrow. And it'd be like, should I try something else? Because everything's been like, wow, good. And I love the piney sauce, whatever that is that goes on the wings and the other chicken pieces that are, everything's so good. So anyway, it's kind of fun being able to do that. I never take pictures of food, but, it's kind of nice to be able to back him up and weigh in on it. And I love the way he just keeps a steady flow, but not overly, of the Garnet Grill and updates and everything.
He's got a small menu and he executes it perfectly. It's wonderful. I was there yesterday and it's absolutely incredible.
Oh, you did go yesterday. Yeah. So what'd you have?
I had the it's like the fried chicken, the boneless fried chicken, and then I had a chicken cheesesteak, which was absolutely incredible. So it's just
it's like, and I just like that he kind of worked this all out. and he had enough, but he's a, what do you call it? It's like you can almost live vicariously off one of his efforts on anything, you know, plodding through it.
What part of the chicken does he use for these chicken cheesesteak sandwiches?
Breast meat.
The white meat.
Yeah, white breast meat, white meat. But it's also like pieces that are like that and kind of pressed down, meant not to be lumpy, but to sort of overlap and stack well, you know, for a certain or the right amount, not too much, but certainly good. And the quality of it was like, is this like really, really, really good?
It's like a tempura fried chicken. It's really amazing.
Yeah, and he's even going to be offering an Impossible cheesesteak burger, meaning not meat, something that I guess resembles meat, just from somebody saying you can have any vegetarian.
Oh, some of the plant-based.
Yeah, and right away, this is Pat. He's like, yes, by Friday. I know what that means. He's going to go out and do the same exact process with that, and it's going to be as awesome as Impossible Burger or whatever it's called could be. That's the whole creativity thing, and I credit Cannabis use to that. You know, he definitely gets innovative.
What does he serve with the chicken cheesesteak sandwich? Does it like come with anything?
Tater tots or fries?
Fries.
Yeah, that. Yeah, I like the. I like that piney sauce. I put some of that on a chicken cheese at the end of it just to see, and it's like a whole other level. Even it's just. I
Is that what it's called? Is it called piney sauce?
Pardon me?
Is it called piney sauce?
Yeah, that's what he calls it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's sort of a local of South Jersey.
Yeah, I know. We call you guys the Pineys. I know who you are.
Yeah, we call. Actually, I'm a 732 code, so I'm not a piney.
You're not a piney.
No,
you're not the
you got to be. You got to be a 609er. Yeah.
609 area.
And that doesn't guarantee a piney status. But if you live, I got to tell you, I got my driver's license and grew up on. We'd go off into the Pine Barrens, and there was endless trails to ride. In a car would be fine, and you'd find out just how lost you can get. I mean, there's no GPS. You spent about 5 hours lost there and came out nowhere there, and you don't know who you're going to run into out there either. Very interesting.
There's we have a similar area. Adam, you know this, the Ramapo area, where all the Jackson Whites live. That's kind of like
yeah, but there's really only one way in there.
Yeah, I know, because you don't come out.
No, up Stag Hill. Otherwise, you got to go to that private property at the top.
That Heartbeat Road.
Wow. Totally over my head. I like that. I learned something.
Yeah. Yeah, it was you had to be a little bit brave to go up there.
You had to be related.
Yes. And they all are.
Yeah, if you're related to one, are you related to all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Interesting story about that stuff. But yeah.
I'll bet. Well, who am I to say?
And then there's Clinton Road in Greenwood Lake. That's got its own movie even. There's a movie called Clinton Road. You should watch it. You could see some of the creepy things we see up in Bergen County or Passaic County.
I never get up there.
How come? You come visit me one day. We'll go get a cup of coffee.
Is that where you're at, Greenwood Lake?
No.
Where's Lake Hopatcong?
That's far.
I have no idea. I mean, this is like, once we went from Tom's River, once we got below the bridge in 65 from Tom's River, I didn't make a lot of travels back up north. Went to a party one time in Newark because people from Newark came and hung out in the Silverton section of Tom's River in the summer with summer homes. And we got invited to a girls' party there and had to have several police cars escort us to our cars after the party, because of the crowd that wanted to beat our ass there that showed up while we were at this party in Newark. I didn't get back to Newark for years after that.
I worked in Newark for 20 years.
Yeah, well, yeah, this is Newark in 1968 and 69. So, you know, that was a stressful time.
It still is.
Yeah.
Hasn't changed. The neighborhoods changed, you know, they shifted them around.
Yeah. You know, the Plainfield riots, when I lived in Plainfield, one of the main starting points was a place called the White Star Diner, which on Dad's visiting days, we'd go there because it was like 8 hamburgers for $1 or something like that, you know. And they were great and all, but to find out that the riots, which had a death toll in Plainfield, started there, you know, it was like really, yeah, we got out, it was like escaping Plainfield if it was a movie. So
I've never been to Plainfield.
What's that?
I've never been to Plainfield.
Yeah. Well, we grew up literally, there was 2 one-story factories between my grandma's house where they spent those Plainfield years and the railroad tracks between Front Street and 2nd Avenue. And it was very white on one side and very black on the other. It was literally, you know, and, you know, it was weird because I had to ride at one point a bicycle past that. I couldn't go up Plainfield Avenue. I had to go up to Grand Avenue and across. Otherwise, I'd have to really get going fast on Plainfield Avenue, and there were people trying to knock me off my freaking bike. You know, little kids. I mean, it busted, you know. So if I was late on my bicycle, I swear I'd go by, have to speed up and go by with a foot out, you know. And it's not a good memory.
Lefty, who's your friend over there? Are we gonna do some White Rabbit songs here?
Yeah, that's Cheshire Cat. That's a 3D rendering of a Cheshire Cat.
Okay.
Doesn't look 3D to me.
Oh, it's 3D. It's built in a 3D machine. He's got all the parts over there. All the pieces are here. Hold on, let me get the tail.
Yeah, picture I posted today. The first time I looked at it, they said, "Oh, you want it to be a 3D picture?" I go, "Oh, is that like where it moves a little like that?" That's so. So I did. The hell is that?
It's a 3D printer. What are you saying?
Wow.
The anus is coming.
That's a big printer.
We're working on the anus right now.
Look how big it is.
That's what she said.
He's working on the anus.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm going to be getting some dinner.
Yeah, it's 6:48. Mike was off.
I will.
Again.
Well, I want to thank Mad Hatter. Thank you, Mad Hatter, for having us at this wonderful location. Don't forget Saturday.
Oh, you have to close a
right here.
board meeting.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, we still got the board. Oh, okay.
We would have to come back.
Right.
Yeah, really.
Are we done with all the board business?
I second. We're done.
New business is I'm going to have this Nurse Blue on. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's new business. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So thank you, Mad Hatter. See, don't forget Saturday, Queen's Garden Party, noon here at Mad Hatter. $20 to get in. If you have a $30 receipt for anything you bought at Mad Hatter, you get it free. And come on down. There's a dab bar, music, all that guns. Are we having food? Are we going to order a pizza? Let's order pizza. I don't care. Whatever we got to do. Yeah, let's. I'm going to order pizza. So if you hang out with me at the party, I'm going to buy some pizza. So maybe I'll buy you a pizza if you come out here. If you come out, maybe I'll buy you a pizza. So come on out.
Don't go with the maybe. Go with the maybe. You know, you're gonna have 100 people looking for pizza.
And if you're 21 and under, you can stay home because it's a 21 and over party, boys and girls.
Yeah.
It's adults only. So
listen to this. My little teeny niece. She's 4 years old. She's in preschool.
Your teeny niece?
My little teeny niece. She goes to school, right? She tells her teacher. She says, "You know, I make cookies with my Nona, So her teacher says, "Oh, that's nice." So she says, "What kind of cookies do you make?" So she says, "Oh, they're just for adults."
Adult cookies, mommy.
Adult cookies.
Adult cookies.
And then somebody's wondering, is that like the shape of the cookie or something?
No, that teacher wasn't going there. She was like, "Okay, I know what kind of cookies these are."
Oh man, yeah.
So thank you, Mad Hatter, for having us, and don't forget this weekend. Come on out. There is a CMMNJ, UFCW, Arlo Glass, OprahMachine.com, and SativaCross.org, where you can donate to our organization. Give us $1. Give us a couple bucks. I got to pay for StreamYard now. Out of my pocket, I paid. So come on, help me out with
Lefty, we have to talk. I think I have a StreamYard account. Because
you can get a free account, but you get the one you pay for. That's good. It's
the one I paid for.
Really?
Yeah, it came on my Amex bill. So I was like, "Oh, I guess I hit the wrong button," but I left it because I didn't know.
Tell me you paid the wrong bill.
There was a reason for that. That was a reason.
All right, let's bring it back here. This is why we do it. All the fun stuff is over. Guess what time it is?
No.
I hope you're not in a rush because this is a long list, and it begins with Cheryl Miller, who had MS, and she suffered greatly, and she fought greatly.
A list of people who didn't get to the finish line, and many suspected they might not, yet stayed. With the direction. So I like to liken it to reading of the World Trade Center victims. Once a year they do that. I got to tell you, man, we do 2 podcasts a week. Maybe I make a motion we don't read the list at one. Oh, seriously.
Why don't you just okay?
No, I mean I'm just saying.
Suggestion would be to do the list at this meeting.
Yeah,
better audience.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's sort of like I like it, but it actually takes a toll on me, and if it's only going to be me and us at times,
right?
I don't know. I had to say it. It's the way it feels that way. But
this list is hurtful and it sucks.
Yeah, it does. These are real people, and it makes it a little more real if their names are uttered aloud. Whether or not anybody knows who it was, just to have that,
That's why I read this list, and I don't want to give you friendly fire, Jim. This is not friendly fire towards you. This is to make everyone else sad. And
I got that covered.
you can always put your earplugs in if you want to put earplugs in. I don't blame you if you're putting I won't blame you one bit, because you know what? This list sucks. These are our friends and family that have died waiting for cannabis to be legal, waiting for home grow, and they didn't make it. So yeah, this list sucks.
Waiting for it to take its place rightfully as medicine amongst other medicines, especially when it's less side effects and harmful in many cases. I'm just saying, it's never. It deserves equal status with that bullshit New Jersey about technically legally. Well, yeah, it has the same status as all prescription drugs now legally in New Jersey in some way, I guess, but it doesn't occupy the same status in any other way. So really, it's not. And that's why my own point is home grow for patients. That's when I get to mentally step back and nod my head and get so high I'm not even listening anyway. Anyway.
Sabina Rose. She was a 15-month-old baby. She died from a 25-hour seizure. How about that one? Yeah, this is our list. This is how we really bring it home at the end of our podcast. We have a list of people that have passed away, and these are people that are all cannabis either users or patients or waiting to be patients. So
you froze.
You froze.
So Then Diane Ripatella. You just
It
mentioned
works.
You mentioned Diane.
Yeah.
Gracie, Cindy May, Marie, Jack, Joan, Randy, Polly, Bill, Chad, Jeremy, Colette, Matt, Troy, Russ, Roger Barber, Jay, Ella, Hattie, Jackie, Anthony, Jake, Armando, Felicia, Lynn, Dan, Sean, Joyce, Lori, Frank, Brian, Flo, Carl, Thorne, Frank, Lorraine, Terry, Charlotte, Cher, Jaybird, Michael, Marley, Colette, Brendan, Red, Rico, Lou, Becky, Lawanda, Chip, Paul, Lisa, Marcus, Gary, Julia, and Jeff.
Real as shit, it's I wish somehow we could bring that to feeling to where it belongs, Maybe we will,
Yep.
I saw roots of that today. I mean, it's not like but if everybody that was there today was inside at like a meeting, it would have been epic.
Yeah.
And you never know. Maybe eventually, when Homegirl gets a hearing, this group had a benefactor that made it possible. I can't believe there isn't somebody in New Jersey who realizes that the first time this gets heard, this bill 1393 or whatever, it's going to go. It is going to happen, and that opportunity will be with the first hearing after all this time. Eventually it's going to happen, and when it does, I don't know, I'd like to think maybe it wouldn't take tens of thousands of dollars. It would just take more than we have to actually get people there who need to be there. So there, that's all I have to say. I'm freaking hungry.
All right. So see you all on Saturday for the Mad Hatter Queen's Garden Party.
All right.
Have fun.
They shall grow not old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. See ya.
Peace out.